Hello friends, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Poonam Chawla, an assistant professor with Maharaja Agrasen Institute of Management Studies in Rohini. Today we are going to discuss on the interesting subject of development and implementation of training. The contents of the module are introduction, instructional strategy, characteristics of a trainer, alternatives to development, implementation of the training program followed by summary. The primary step in the development phase of training involves preparing an instructional strategy, and the purpose of the strategy should be to meet the training objectives, which were developed when the training design was in progress. The instructional strategy involves all the elements of the training program like the individual modules, methods and techniques used to deliver them. Precise content should be used for the training, material and slides in the training manual, etc. These contents of the development phase are the inputs in the implementation phase. The instructional strategy for a training program is a systematic written plan which contains all the specific details of the program and provides aspects of material, methods, equipment and trainers used for the activity. An effective instructional strategy should include the profile of the target audience, purpose of the training program and initial configuration of the training space. The strategy then should explicitly spell out the learning objectives of the program. Furthermore, these objectives should be then arranged in the form of modules which include related topics. Each learning objective should be then divided into various learning points and clear explanation of methods used to achieve those objectives must be mentioned. The plan must incorporate flexibility, if any required, to accommodate any change in the configuration of seating space of the training program. The mechanisms that will assist transfer should be documented so that the outcome of the training is clearly mentioned and it is clear what will occur once the training is complete. A brief description of training effectiveness must also be stated, as it will help in ensuring that each component of the training is focused on achieving the training objectives. The following sections in the module discuss each element of the instructional strategy which is imminent and necessary for the development phase of training. Objectives and learning point. The instructional strategy must contain all the learning objectives and they must be categorized or listed into the modules wherein these objectives shall be addressed. The learning objectives must be subcategorized into key learning points required to achieve the objective. Each learning objective is a source that clearly mentions what needs to be achieved. Learning objectives mention the skill that needs to be learned by the trainee. Material and equipment. Once the training objectives are set and all the learning points are clearly mentioned, it is necessary that the material and equipment required to meet those learning objectives must be procured. The documents like printed material for assistance of the trainee, slides must be prepared in a time-bound manner. The list of equipments should be clearly mentioned and if any equipment needs to be ordered, it must be done well in advance. The trainer or training coordinator can put in place all the charts, posters, if any, required during the training program. Trainee's Manual. The Trainee's Manual is an important document that is considered as an important tool for training. The instructional strategy mentions what should be the part of the manual. To maintain the interest of the trainee and participation, it is considered feasible to provide notes on all important topics so that the trainees focus their attention on what is being practically done in the training session, rather than only focusing on simply taking notes. The manual should incorporate all the printed material related to lectures, learning points, and references to any supplemental readings to support the given material. The manual may also incorporate blank pages to take down notes and lists in small group meetings. The trainee's manual is normally put together in a ring binder and put in the training kit. It is good to put the manual in the ring binder because if the trainee during the course of training wants to add his notes or any material that he or she has got on the spot, he can do it without any problems and issues. Trainer's Manual. Apart from Trainee's Manual, the Trainer's Manual is also an important document which provides all the information related to the Trainee's Manual and information on the activities that the trainer needs to undertake. It is a things to do written material for the trainer. The usual structure that is followed in the trainer's manual is notes on the right side and the activities to be undertaken on the left side. These instructions include the methods to be undertaken to complete an activity and the equipment to be used for it. A properly prepared trainer manual shall provide everything a trainer needs to know to conduct the training. Facilities. If the training is taking place in the organization, it is necessary that the room is available by reserving it earlier. If the training is off-site, be selective to the design of the room. It is necessary that the site can break out rooms if they are required and the seating arrangements be properly configured. If there are temporary dividers which separate the room, inquire about the events which are taking place in the next door. It is necessary to assess this. For instance, if a sales training is conducted in the next room, it may create disturbances in another session which might have a lecture going on. So, to avoid distraction and disturbances, such precautions should be taken. It should be made clear while making the primary booking of the venue. It is better to pick up rooms that are soundproofed. A detailed portrayal of facilities is discussed in the forthcoming slides. Using off-site training facilities. On-site training facilities are pride for an organization, but certainly it comes at an expense. There are various advantages that can be offered to off-site training facilities like hotels, etc. The first and foremost benefit that can be provided is that trainees shall not be interrupted, as the senior should not be able to have direct contact and cannot instantly recall the trainee for some official work. Another major advantage is the change of location. It can also de-stress the participants so that they may become more open and accepting to the offer, which may not be the case if the training program is on site, as they may be recalled by the senior for some official issue and simultaneously they have to bear the stress of training. On the contrary, if they are going to a hotel for a training session, many incumbents will treat it as a vacation and it may also relieve them from their routine job. At the off-site training facility, the trainer can choose a site compatible to the needs of the particular event. For instance, if they need a U-shaped classroom style, they can choose it as per their requirement. The training room. An on-site facility or an off-site facility, whichever is chosen, the training room should be learner-friendly. The discussion here entails about the various types of rooms which are ideal for most types of training. A windowless room is best. Windows can create disturbances, and if at all there are windows, ensure that they are covered with shades so that they can be closed at the appropriate time. It is not only the human disturbance or noise that can cause issues, but weather issues can also disrupt the process. The walls of the room should be neutral, although it may seem to be a menial point, but the purpose is that the attention of the trainee should not be distracted. The rooms should have adjustable lighting and the material that is required during the training process, it must be posted on walls and easels. Rectangular room limit the seating space, and if one goes by the rule of thumb, any room which exceeds the width of the room by more than 50% should be avoided. The rooms should be carpeted and must have a sound absorbing ceiling which will play a vital role in the training room. What are the do's for a training room? Have tracks built upon the walls so that newsprint can be pushed and charts or posters can be hanged anywhere in the room. Whiteboards should be easily accessible and placed at strategic locations so that there is easy access to large writing surfaces. Inbuilt consoles to control lighting, audiovisuals, and computers so that training aids can be easily accessed. Remote control operation for electrical devices should be there so that the trainer can operate them from any part of the room. Use of an interactive whiteboard or smartboard can enhance the learning process and make the trainee more involved. Also, it is necessary to ensure that audiovisuals should be placed in a manner so that all the trainees are able to view and hear it, and it must not be built into places where the equipment block the sight lines. Furniture. Use of table and chairs instead of classroom type desk chairs is a better option because tables are movable and can be set up in any configuration. There are various configurations possible with the table. For instance, if two tables are put together, they can be used for holding a group discussion. It is better to use a padded swivel chair which is cloth covered and not vinyl and have casters and armrests. It will be easier for the trainees to sit for longer duration and comfort is necessary for better attention. Furniture setup. The seating arrangement is dependent on the type of training which is being conducted. Although the most usual configurations that are used for classroom are U-shape, conference and circle. The arrangement determines the level of formality, focus of attention and the kind of two-way communication. The classroom style concentrates on the trainer but has a tendency to limit two-way communication as the trainees are all focusing in one direction and cannot have much communication amongst themselves. In a classroom style, if no tables are used, more people can be accommodated and this can be termed as a theatre style. Slide number 27. This kind of setup clearly has to be kept in mind. In the circle setup, it is necessary the focus is evenly distributed at everyone and no single person is given a particular special attention. Though it lacks focus, but it gives the trainees room to discuss issues amongst themselves. If the objective of the training is to provide information, then classroom configuration is more suitable. However, if the purpose is to brainstorm and bring new ideas from a set of employees, then a circular setup is necessary. A further extension to the circular setup is the semi-circular setup, and it allows trainees to be face to face and is an ideal sitting arrangement for group discussions. A similar configuration to semicircle is U-shape, but it allows large number of people to be accommodated. The U-shaped seating keeps the attention on the trainer, allows a fair amount of face-to-face discussion and accommodates a reasonably large group. Refreshments. Though refreshment sounds a very menial task and to mention them, but are very necessary during a training session. A poorly managed refreshment plan can cause irritation among the trainees. It is important to arrange for a proper breakfast and lunch, and easy supply of coffee and juices should be there. A proper set of tasty refreshments shall keep the trainees fresh and interested in the session. All the arrangements must be made prior so that there is no rush and shortage of food once the session is on. Characteristics of a trainer. Proper choice of a trainer is must because he is the person who will be able to cite the relevance of training to the trainees. Sometimes a good training program becomes ineffective because the trainees feel that though the program is effective but is not workable for them because somewhere the trainer was not able to convince them the importance of the program. In many cases, the trainees feel that their immediate manager should also take up the role of the trainer so as he is the one who practically and genuinely understands their problems and issues. However, if the manager does not possess the qualities of a good trainer, it may be problematic for the organization. Therefore, it is necessary that when a training program is being executed, proper choice of trainer is made. The trainer should be a seasoned individual with proper experience in the field. He or she must acquaint himself or herself with the group so that he can understand the needs of the group as well as connect with them. The better the connect, more successful is the training program. He must have the required set of knowledge, skill and aptitude to manage the training process. Knowledge herein refers to the familiarity with the subject matter, experience in adult learning and various instructional methods. He must possess active interpersonal and verbal skills, ability to take feedback, active learning skills and organization skills, that is providing information in the right sense and order. He must possess proactive and positive attitude and must have a helping attitude towards others with high level of self-efficacy. It is eminent to mention that most of the experience here is the credibility of the trainer. There is a necessity at this instance to differentiate between on the job and traditional trainers at this juncture. On the job trainers are normally your supervisors for the jobs for which they are providing training. Therefore, on the job to be successful, the trainers must be aware of the job to be trained. They must be knowledgeable in interpersonal skills and should possess the capability to be a trainer and motivate others to train. Using an on-the-job senior co-worker or supervisor as trainer must be acquainted with policies and support provided by the organization, interpersonal skills and feedback techniques, and must be aware of principles of adult learning. It is necessary to motivate the OJT trainer as the individual primarily did not sign up for being a trainer. It is imperative to mention that a person already doing a job must not be expected to deliver with the same efficiency as a person who is either only training or working. Alternatives to development. There are situations and reasons when the organization chooses not to develop their own training programs. For instance, small companies may be short of resources and large organizations might not have many individuals to train or may have many other projects to handle. If such a situation arises, it is possible that the company uses a pre-packaged training program or outside seminars to get desired results. The option to hire a consultant to carry on with all the work is an expensive alternative and may result in a program tailored according to organizational needs. Implementation of the training program. At this stage, one is ready to implement the training program and the output of the development is used as inputs in the implementation stage. With all the inputs from the development phase, the organization can go for a dry run followed by actual training and then assessment of the knowledge, skill and ability of the trainee. To implement the training effectively, it is the utmost duty of the trainer to ensure that all the trainees are comfortable and ready to attend the program. The kind and choice of icebreaker depends on the size of the group. Make sure there is a variety during the training process. Utilization of monotonous methods to train may lead to decline in the attention of trainees. A variety of games and exercises can be helpful in designing the training program and shall have valuable contribution towards the whole exercise. The dry run stage in the process phase of implementation is helpful in assessing the value and clarity of the program. Once the actual training is provided after the dry run, it is necessary to assess the knowledge of the training program and the value addition done by it. This module consists of development and implementation of training. It discusses all the necessary things that are required to prepare for training: material, equipment, training manuals, type of training facility, seating arrangement, refreshments, and other notable contributions that were made in the module were to study the parameters of having effective trainers, special cases of on-the-job trainers, and implications associated with them were also discussed. The module also discussed alternatives to development of a training program vis-a-vis buying a ready-made training program. In the implementation phase, it was stated that all the preparations that were made in the development phase now act as inputs and pass through the process stage of a dry run, and providing actual training to get the desired outcome of individuals with required knowledge, skill and attitude, and later taking feedback from the participants to put the finishing touch as well as make improvement in similar programs for the same or other firms. Thank you very much.